Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Okay, gentlemen, my dear student, this is your set lecture, seven lectures regarding, uh, and now we are going to take a very important aspect of the protection system and a very important protection that is differential protection. Now, as a differential relay is defined as the relay that operates when the phase difference of two or more electrical quantity exceed a predetermined amount. Differential protection is very reliable type of unit protection. It's very useful method of protecting generator, transformer, buses and transmission line section from the effect of internal fault. This type of protective relay operates only to internal fault. When the difference of two or more electrical quantity exceed a predetermined value, a predetermined value is actually just the pickup value of a relay which are using. It's a predetermined value, mean pickup value. Any type of relay, when connected in a certain way, can be made to operate as differential relay. CTs are connected at both ends of the protected section, and the input and output current of CTs are compared. For normal condition or external fault, the difference between input and output current is zero, hence the relay will not operate. But for internal fault, the difference of two current, that is IN and I outflows, and the operating coil of the relay to operate. Now see this example now. For example, let's say we have a single in feed line. Single in feed line is that line where have no backward current are only supply in one direction like radial feeders. It is feeded only from one end. There is no second end feeding or other end feeding. So case number one, take the section of line feeding at one end only. First we take normal condition or external fault condition. Now see, this dotted line shows the protected system element to be protected by this differential relay. It may be even a transformer, it may even a generator, the stator winding of the generator, or it may be a section of the transmission line, whatever may be the case, but it shows the protective system element to be protected. Now on both side of this section, we have connected CTs. This is CT at the input, and the feed from this is your end feed. IN, this is your end feed. So now we have CT on this end of the line of the element, and we have CTs on the other line of the element. Now, gentlemen, as we have shown the output current of the CT, this I1 is the output current of this incoming CT, and this I2 is, of course, this is the current is the output of the other CT at the other end of the line or the element. So now this is your external fault. This is your external fault layout. Okay. Now according to these assigned direction of current from the CTs, this is your operating coil. This middle is your operating coil, is shown overcurrent relay operating coil. Basically, it is an overcurrent relay connected for differential protection. Connected for differential protection. So under this scenario, under this operating condition or under this scenario, you may say that two currents are flowing. One is I1 flowing in the downward direction and one is I2 flowing in the upward direction. Since for external fault or for normal condition, I1 and I2 must be equal. Therefore, for normal condition or external fault, I1 is equal to I2. Therefore, current in operating coil of relay is equal to I1 minus I2 is equal to 0 and no operation, right? Okay, let's say now we have internal fault. Internal fault mean that is the fault of the particular element which we want to protect, that becomes our internal fault, right? Okay, now see here, this shows the internal fault. This arrow shows the internal fault, and this IF is the fault current, right? So naturally, this line which we are considering a single in-feed line. There is no backflow. There's no backflow power from the other side. So naturally, when we have an internal fault, IN is the input current, and naturally I2 is the output current will naturally be zero because all the input current will go into the fault. That is IN is equal to IF. I out, I have shown these, of course, direction of current, but the magnitudes are zero. The magnitude of these current which is going out of this CT or out of this line, I mean, is equal to zero. So therefore, I have shown this I2 is equal, I out is equal to zero. So now, in the operating coil, this is again the operating coil, only one current is flowing, and that is the fault current I1. There is no opposite current or there is no opposition current in this, as we have shown in the previous slide, where we have considered the external fault or normal condition. So only one current is flowing because I2 is equal to 0. So for internal condition, see below, for internal fault I2 is equal to 0 while I1 is equal to IF. Current in operational coil of relay is equal to I1 minus I2 is equal to I1 or IF. Because I have purposely not shown the arrow for I2, I should have shown you so that you may not confuse with it, because that magnitude is 0. So therefore that is not being shown here. You can expect only that current magnitude only for the external fault or for a normal condition. So this I1 is enough to operate this particular relay. So now naturally you have seen that this type of protection responds only when we have the internal fault. It does not respond to external fault or to normal condition. It's only response to internal fault. And this is that particular example of that. Now we take a second scenario, uh, that is line feeding from both ends. If we have such a line which is feeding from both ends, so now see, again we are considering two cases. One is the normal condition or external fault condition, and the second case would be, of course, internal fault condition. So now coming to case number one, normal condition or external fault condition. Okay. Now see here, again we have similar type of figure, and this is of course IN. This is the current feeding end from this side, and of course we have another feeding from the other side which is not being shown at this particular moment, but it is being assumed that we have a feed from the other side also. Okay, so IN is the current. This is your current, of course, which is coming in into the protected element. And now under these conditions, this is the output I2 of the CT. And same as that current is passing, because there is no internal fault, so naturally IN will be equal to I out, or I1 will be equal to I2. So the current output of the second CT on the other end of the element is I2. So this is your I2. And when these currents are flowing, in the operating coil of the relay, it is being shown with these particular arrows. This is your I1, this is your I1, and this is your I2. Both these direction of current in the operating coil of the relay are opposite. Since both these currents are equal, therefore I1 is equal to I2 and I1 minus I2 is equal to 0. There is 0 current flowing in the operating coil. So no operation of the relay. The relay will not operate. See, it is being written some simple mathematical equation of these. I1 is equal to I2. Therefore, current in operating coil of the relay is equal to I1 minus I2 is equal to 0. So no operation. Okay. Now coming, let's say for example, internal fault. And this internal fault we have considered previous internal fault, but that is single in feed, and now we have in feed from the other end also. We have also the current from the other end. So now naturally this is your fault point. This is your fault point that is internal to the system or internal to the protected system or internal fault. So this is your current I1 entering. You got the point? And now it's flowing, and this is your fault point. So naturally, when we have fault point, there will be no current flowing in this direction. But since we have supply, we have feed from the other end, therefore we have another current I2. The direction of the current at the other end will change for internal fault condition. In the previous case we have seen for external fault the direction of current remains the same. Even the magnitude of the current remains the same. Input current was equal to the output current because there was no internal fault. And now when we have internal fault, the output current of this from this end is 0, but now we have a back feed. So therefore supply from the other end will come, and this is the direction of I2. So you have seen the previous. This is of course we have shown that I2 is equal to 0, and I'm at the previous slide. But the direction remains the same as far as the direction. So it remains the same because we have external part. So now, gentlemen, this is the I2 direction, and when now with these I2 direction, this will be the output of the CT I2, and this will be the output of the CT incoming CT I1, and this is outgoing CT is output is I2, and the direction of current in the operating coil is the same. I1 is flowing in the downward direction, I2 is flowing in the downward direction. So the current in the operating coil for internal fault is equal to I1 minus I2. Minus I2 is shown only because the direction of the current from the other is changed. This is not the previous direction we have considered in the previous case, where the magnitude, where the direction was of course not that way. So therefore I1 minus I2, and the relay coil operate because I1 plus I2 currents, and the summation of these two currents flowing, and of course the separating coil, and the coil operates. So getting into a very interesting type of differential protection, that is bias differential protection. Bias differential protection or percentage differential protection. The previous protection which we considered was simple differential protection. There were no biasing force, that type of thing was there. Now, why we go to the percentage differential protection? Why bias differential protection? This is because the sometime this type simple differential protection is mal operated, that even under normal condition the input current is equal to, not exactly equal to the output current, but there is some difference even in the normal condition. This is because of the difference of characteristic of both the CT on both sides, particularly when one CT is carrying a high current and it is to be compared with a number of CTs carrying small current. So both these CTs on both sides, they are operating at different point of their operating characteristic. Therefore, sometime even under normal condition, we get some difference in their output, and since this difference is flowing in the operating coil, sometimes this difference reaches the pickup value of the relay, and therefore the relay is maloperated. So now therefore the simple differential protection is to be converted into a bias or percentage differential protection so that we may provide some restraining force, some biased force, so that if there is any difference between the output of the CT, then the operating force must be equal to the restraint, must be greater than the restraining force by certain percentage. Then of course the relay has to operate. So we can avoid the maloperation of this relay by this type of arrangement. Now first see these points. This protection is the main protection for all high rating alternator and all high rating transformers. This is the most used form of differential relay. I am talking about bias differential relay. Their arrangement is same as that of the current differential relay. The only difference that this system consists of an additional restraining coil connected in the pilot wires as shown in the figure. So figure will come below, and the current flows and both the CTs flow through it. The operating coil is connected to the midpoint of the restraining coil. The reason for this modification in circulating current differential relay is to overcome the difficulty arising out of differences in current transformer ratio for high value of short circuit current. Okay, now see here, this is very important. External fault protected system. Now, gentlemen, you see here, this is your incoming CT, and this is your outgoing CT, and this is of course the element to be protected by this. So now in the previous case we have not provided these restraining coil. This is the addition in this. We provide a restraining coil. Now the current in these coil produces a restraining torque or restraining force which is against the operating force produced in the operating coil. So now see here for external fault. This is your external fault, right? And this is of course your incoming CT, and whose output is of course I1, and this is your of course CT, and this is of course IF or I2 is the incoming current, and the current in the restraining coil in this particular we have I2 current, and in this particular we have I1 current, and you have seen that both these currents in the restraining coil has the same direction. This is important to be noted. While these currents are flowing in the opposite direction in the operating coil, in the restraining coil the direction of I1 and I2 is the same. So if any restraining torque is produced by that will be added together. So the torque produced by this and the torque produced by this, I mean the restraining torque produced by these, are added together, and the total restraining torque produced by these two coils which have the mid connection. A half the turns are here n by 2 and half the turns are here n by 2. And now naturally again, as in the previous example we have shown that I1 and I2 are the current flowing in the operating coil, and these directions are opposite as for this particular fault. So again we have let n be the total number of turns of restraining coil. So total ampere turns of restraining coil n divided by 2 I1 plus n divided by 2 I2. Since I have shown you that both these directions are the same, so they will be added together. So this gives us I1 plus I2 divided by 2 into n. N is the total number of the restraining coil, and this shows the average of the current. I1 incoming current, I2 outgoing current, and this is the average value of the current. Hence, restraining torque is directly proportional to I1 plus I2 divided by 2. Now, current flowing in operating coil is I1 minus I1. Therefore, operating torque is directly proportional to I1 minus I2. So now, see here, the operating torque is directly proportional to the difference of the two current. and the restraining torque is directly proportional to the average value of these currents. Okay. Now, when the relay will operate when the difference of two currents, that is I1 minus I2, is greater than the average value of current I1 plus I2 divided by 2 by certain percentage, then of course the relay will operate. By certain percentage means this percentage is decided by the operating value or the pickup value of the relay. So therefore, when it is increased by certain percentage, mean it reaches the difference between the operating the differ the differ that is the difference between the difference of these two current, and of course the average value of the current exceeds beyond the pickup value of the relay, then the relay will operate. Otherwise, it will not operate. So therefore, so certain percentage mean depending upon the pickup value of that particular relay. Okay. Now this graph is for of course very important graph. Uh, on x-axis we have drawn the average value of the current I1 plus I2 divided by 2, average value of the current, and on the y-axis of this graph we have shown of course the I1 minus I2, that is the difference of the two current. And if we draw this graph between these two quantities, that is the average value and the difference of these two values, then of course we see we have this type of graph. And basically you see here this particular region which is shown, either naturally it should start from the zero of this, but this show that it should not operate whenever there's slight difference between them. It should operate only when there's a difference by a certain percentage. So this area shows the pickup value of this. This shows the pickup value of the relay. This shows the pickup value of the relay. So actually there's bend in this particular characteristic, and then start from this and it go like this. Okay. Now in this particular we have two regions. One is operated region and one is not operated region. So our positive torque region and negative torque region. So the relay will operate for any value or for any point above this line, and it will not operate when it fall in for any value below this particular line. So this becomes the positive torque region and this becomes the negative torque region, right? So this is operating characteristic of percentage differential relay. In percentage we have a slight bend in that particular. uh, Gentlemen, in most cases on the power system, rather than simple differential relay, percentage differential relays are being used for all practical purposes, because this is more reliable than of course the simple differential relay. Okay, now before taking this bus bar protection, first I have to narrate two or three more points. Now, one point is this, gentlemen, this is the main protection, as we have mentioned in the previous lines, for high rating alternator, high rating generators, main stator protection. And it is also a main protection for high rating transformers. So these topic, that is generator protection and transformer protection, will be taken as a separate topics when we come to the chapter of transformer protection and generator protection. So that will be taken at that particular time when we go there, of course, because some more points will be discussed in those particular cases. Okay. Now, this is of course differential protection of a bus, station bus. Now, gentlemen, in the grid station or bus station, bus bar, we normally call bus, is a tubular aluminum rod where we have incoming and line and we have outgoing line. And you have seen we have in this particular arrangement We have an incoming CB and we have three outgoing CB. We have an incoming current I2 and we have outgoing current I1, I2 and I3. And naturally you see that by simple Kirchhoff current law, incoming current will be equal to the sum of the outgoing currents. Simple, it is simple anode, it is a simple anode. Okay. Now, as far as the protection of bus bar is concerned, you see these relays. That is outgoing relay. This circuit breaker, this circuit breaker, and this circuit breaker. All these circuit breakers sees only in the forward direction. Most of these relays, either distance group of relay or any other type of relay, all these are seen only in the forward direction. And this relay is, of course, its forward direction is away from the bus. Always the direction of operation of any relay of any circuit breaker is away from the bus. Most relay cannot see behind it. So this area, this bus area is totally unprotected area because this relay, this circuit breaker protection region is somewhere here and this somewhere here and this third one is somewhere here and this of course we will see over here. So they cannot see in most cases beyond its position or beyond its situation or beyond its place. Therefore this area, this particular area, this bus area is totally unprotected area. You see from the basics protection, you cannot leave anything unwatched. Any inch of your property or whatever it may be cannot be unwatched. So we cannot leave any inch, any feet of this unprotected. We want to protect every inch, every feet of our protection system. So this area, maybe so many feet area, is totally unprotected area. So therefore, for this we have adopted a special type of protection for this particular area, differential protection for bus bar. So bus bar protection is just like a node. We have an incoming line and we have a number of outgoing line feeders. This small segment of system is unprotected segment. ده في وسيلة كل شو أكشر خلاص كنت بدأت semester. Okay, now bus bar protection is just like bus bar is just like a node. We have an incoming line and a number of outgoing line feeder. This small segment of system is an unprotected segment, as I explained fully. This one. Now I1, I2, and I3 output current under normal condition and for any external fault, I is equal to I1 plus I2 plus I3. So the arrangement of protection system is you have seen is seen here in this particular figure. We have a CT in the incoming line and we have a number of CT at the outgoing lines. So we have three lines, so we have three CTs, one line and one CTs. Now naturally this point is explained in the previous lecture, the shortcomings or maloperation of the protection relay. This is being also clear in this particular example. So we have an incoming CT which is carrying higher current and we have outgoing CT which are carrying small currents, number of output CT but carrying small currents. So under normal condition, this high CT or high rated CT are carrying CT carrying high current is to be compared with the number of CT carrying small current. So therefore, in this type of condition, the restraining coil or the restraining force is must. Okay. Now this is the output of the incoming CT I1, and these are the output of the outgoing CT. And this current is not one current, it is a number of current I1 plus I2 plus I3 shown in this particular. And this is your operating coil. OC mean network, it is operating coil. RC mean restraining coil. RC stand for restraining coil, OC stands for operating coil. So the current in the operating coil of this relay, this is your I1 and this is your number of current I1 plus I2 plus I3. Under normal condition, under normal condition, I1 should be equal to I1 plus I2 plus I3 as has been mentioned in the previous lines. So this difference will only be disturbed when we have the internal fault anywhere on this. Let's say for example the fault occur here, right? So when the fault occur here, naturally we have incoming current and outgoing current will be equal to 0. So only one current I1, which is actually the fault current, will be flowing in the operating coil, and of course we have, and also the restraining coil will not provide so much restraining torque because the operating torque will be more than the restraining coil in that particular situation. Okay. Now see these points, since all three relays, that is the incoming line and outgoing line, see only in forward direction, it cannot see behind bus bar section. This point is being explained already, totally unprotected, therefore percentage effect is being used to protect this small protection system, this small this small portion of this small portion of system, this small portion of system, this small portion of system. Small portion of system. This one. Okay. Now since all three relays, that is incoming line and incoming line, outgoing line, see only in forward direction, it cannot see behind bus bar section. So but totally unprotected. Bus bar section is totally unprotected. Therefore, percentage differential is being used to protect the small protection is totally repair. Okay. Now once again, since all these three, all three,
Typing the mistake.
तृतीय पोर्टर है कसं रिले 4 राहिली ना since all since all relays, that is an incoming line and outgoing line, see only in the forward direction, it cannot see behind bus bar. Bus bar section is totally unprotected. Behind bus bar section is totally unprotected. Therefore, percentage differential protection is being used to protect the small portion of system. Okay, Ji. Now in this, in the above arrangement, a CT incoming carrying high current is balanced against three CTs carrying smaller currents. The second point in this, for normal condition and external fault, I, that is incoming current, is equal to I1 plus I2 plus I3 outgoing currents. For internal fault on bus bar, I is not equal to I1 plus I2 plus I3. This difference of current flow in the operating coil to operate. Now gentlemen, you see all these clearly. If you have any question, we have an introduction class next time. If you have any question, shortcoming or misunderstanding or anything missing in my this talk, so you can raise those points next week. Okay, thank you very much.